14 seconds left. The time to load. Oh no, he's back to the wall. He has to be careful. He has to be careful.
My God.
He wins. He
Oh,
wins.
get off of me. 5 seconds left on the clock. The jab. What's going to happen? The whip. Oh my God.
There's no time.
Arslan
There's no
takes
time.
it. Goes to...
The final major Tekken 7 tournament has come to a close, and what a weekend it's been. From the crazy upsets during the last chance qualifier, the action in the group phase, and the unforgettable final bracket, today we'll be recapping the entire tournament. The weekend began on Friday with the last chance qualifier, where over 280 players competed for a single spot. For a chance to compete with the world's best, 19 players who've won various qualifying tournaments throughout all of last year in the final bracket. Pools for this last chance qualifier were a bloodbath, with the number 1 seed of the tournament, Pinya, falling to the Korean Horang player Rest, and then losing to Infested in loser's side top 24 for a 17th place finish. Even more heavy hitters falling early, like Tai losing to Sherdell, and Cuddlecore being the 5th seed going out at 33rd place. Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said there'd be some crazy upsets. After a long battle, the winner was the American Jack God, Joe Crush, who went on an insane run, beating Rest, JDCR, and AK 3 times, and much more. With Joe Crush being the final one to make it out, all 20 entrants were ready to compete in the group phase and fight for the title of the Final Tekken 7 World Tour Champion. Saturday began with the group phase, with 4 groups of 5 players, where the top 2 players of each group would make it into the final top 8 bracket. In the first group, consisting of Ulsan, Joka, Rangchu, and Joey Fury, and Super Akuma, only Ulsan and Rangchu managed to make it out, with Ulsan only falling to Joka's Fangway in 2-1 fashion, but beating everyone else with his signature Kazumi and Bob, and Rangchu only falling to Ulsan using a good mix of his Julia and Anna. While Ulsan was expected to make it out, Rangchu made a great run, upsetting Joka and of course beating Super Akuma and Joey Fury. So Ulsan and Rangchu were our first 2 to be guaranteed to make it to top 8. Group 2 consisted of Arslan Ash, Anakin, Raif, Kokoma, and Owl, with Arslan Ash making a 4-0 sweep, only dropping a game to Anakin's Jack, and pulling out some crazy characters like Nina, Noctis, Zafina, and of course his classic Kunimitsu. And Owl getting big wins with his Kunimitsu on Anakin, Raif, Kokoma, and only losing to Arslan Ash. These 2 were our next top 8 qualifiers. Group 3 consisted of Jonding, Antif, Lohai, Book, and the newly qualified Joe Crush who won the last chance qualifier. This bracket saw Lohai making big upsets, going 4-0, using Steve to beat Jonding's Eddie, using Shaheen to beat Antif's Akuma and Fang, and his classic Brian and Steve to beat Book's Jin. And finally, the Steve again to beat Joe Crush. This was a crazy showing from him. Jonding made it out in 2nd place, only going 2-2 and tying with Antif in terms of set wins, but winning through the game count. He beat Antif and Joe Crush, but lost to Lohai and Book. Atif had the same performance, beating Book and Joe Crush, and losing to the other 2, but just got unlucky and couldn't make it out because Jonding took 1 more game than he did. Really unfortunate. The final group saw CBM, Ni, Daniel Motto, Chikarin, and Tibtano, and this was the only group to go exactly as expected. CBM made it out in 1st place, beating Ni, Daniel Motto, Tibitano, and only lost to Chikarin, while Ni made it out in 2nd with the exact same number of wins, and even the exact same number of game count, but lost in the head-to-head as his only loss was to CBM himself. So, with our final 2 players, we now had our top 8 finalists for the final Tekken 7 World Tour, and the hype going into the championship Sunday was unreal. In winter semis, we had Ulsan vs CBM, and Arslan Ash vs Lohai. 2 incredible sets to watch, with Ulsan's Kazumi beating CBM's Noctis in 2-0 fashion, and Arslan Ash being forced to swap off his Noctis and play Kunimitsu against Lohai's Brian and reverse 2-0ing him. Losers round 1 saw Rangchu's Julia versus Ni's Brian and ended in a close 2-1 in Rangchu's favor. Ao's Kunimitsu 2-0'd Jonding's Eddie as well. Lohai then 2-1'd Rangchu, eliminating him from the tournament in losers quarterfinals. And after CBM defeated Owl in the other side of losers quarterfinals, our top 4 was made. Arslan Ash versus Ulsan in winners, and Lohai versus CBM in losers. Arslan Ash versus Ulsan was an insane set, going down to the very last game. Both players were locked in, getting coaching between every game, and in a crazy Game 5 final round situation, Arslan Ash managed to take it over Ulsan. What an insane match that was. CBM then managed to defeat Lohai in an intense 2-1 fashion in losers semifinals, and then proceeded to defeat Ulsan in the Game 5 situation, eliminating him from the tournament and giving him a spot in Grand Finals against the god Arslan Ash. And the Grand Finals were set. Arslan Ash versus CBM. Arslan Ash managed to make fairly quick work of CBM, beating him 3-1 using only Katarina, and thus became the final Tekken World Tour 2023 champion. It's honestly so crazy to me that this is the last Tekken 7 tournament. This game has been a huge part of my life, and I'm definitely sad to see it go. That being said, it's a great time to be a Tekken fan. Tekken 8 is going to be out in only a few more weeks, and the competitive scene I'm sure is going to be amazing in that game, with tons of new players playing for the first time, old veterans rising up. It's going to be a great time to be a Tekken fan, so stay tuned. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm planning on making more videos like this, beginner's guides, analysis videos, commentary, and much more. So if you want to help me out, only about 4% of my viewers are subscribed. Please consider doing so, it means a lot to me. Anyway, that's going to be about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Arslan Ash is a god. Take it easy, folks.